Welcome back to Lucky Basics, and the message for today is, what if you just went for it regardless of what other people are gonna say? You know what I mean? Like, remove them from the context of your problem and then relook at it, because I think sometimes we look at things from another person's perspective instead of our own, based on how they'll treat us, which is literally just a survival mechanism because we want people to like us. I mean, if you don't want people to like you, okay, but I feel like deep innately in everyone they want people to like them. So if you just take out that factor from your problem, you get a different perspective on like how it could go based on not thinking of how others will think of you in that situation. And this is for normal situations. Like, if you're doing something crazy, probably consult someone else, but I'm talking to people that want to do great things in their life and you want to live a big life. So if you want to live a big life, you can't look from a small lens of someone else, you know? Like, you just have to look through your lens and then they'll be able to adapt over time, okay? It's just like with when you use a magnifying glass, you know, it really zooms you in on like this small portion of the text in a book. But if you like give yourself time, like you can read more that's around it, versus if you just look at it automatically, you can only see a small portion and you're like, this is such a big problem, this is gonna be chaotic, I don't know what to do, and it makes you stress out. Versus if you take away like other people's perspectives, which is the magnifying glass theoretically, then it opens you up to so many more opportunities because you can see so much more on the page of the book versus if you had the magnifying glass, you know? So that is the main thing when you're dealing with a problem or a decision in your life and you don't know what to do. Just look at it from like your point of view. What do you want to accomplish in your life? How would this situation help you in what you want to accomplish? And like, how will listening to other people's opinion help you or hinder you? You know what I mean? And then another thing to help with this is literally try to look at the situation from like an outsider's perspective. Like, look at the situation as if you were a person looking at you from like the lens of a movie. You know when you watch a movie and you see the main character and you're like, don't do that, why are they doing that? You know, you like want to tell them stop. Think of when you're going through a problem or a situation, like take yourself out of that main role of being the person with the problem, because when we're stressed, automatically everything is going to be like much more condensed and narrow, because we feel like we only have limited options. But when you're watching a movie, specifically when you're watching like scary movies, you can obviously tell what they shouldn't do and then they go and do it and you're like, now why did you do that, you know? But essentially do that, like pretend you're watching a movie of someone's life, not your life, and what do you think the audience would tell that person in that situation? Because 9 times out of 10, strangers and people you don't know sometimes have good advice because they're outside of the situation. This is why like sometimes when you're out in public, people will tell you like what's going on in their life or something, like they'll just overshare a little bit. I think it's because they have heard everyone else's opinion that they're friends with or their families with, like connected with, and they don't agree with it, so then they just start outsourcing to strangers who will actually give their honest opinion. Like, your family will give their honest opinion, but honest opinion with some sort of extra what they actually want you to do, you know? So yeah, and remember that if you go after something and you fail, it's not a big deal. You know, like sometimes I think we put way too much pressure on ourselves to like do good immediately, but what if we just appreciated like the steps, you know? Like, it's gonna take me a little, this path took me on a detour, so it's gonna take me a little bit longer to get there, which is fine, because if you know innately, if you have this lucky mindset that you're gonna get there, then it removes the stress and you can be like, okay, I'm at peace, I'm gonna get there. Eventually, even though I messed up here, it's gonna be fine. And even if you make the wrong choice, you can always make another. That's the great thing. You can literally always start again. And if you always start again, then you'll never lose. And if you always start again, at some point, you will make your life your dream. The only problem is if you give up. Like if you decide, oh, I guess I'm just not meant for that. That's when it's sad, because then you just gave up all the hope. So at the end of this, do not give up hope, and do not give up on the belief in yourself to do something great in your life. So I hope this was helpful to someone, and I hope y'all have a great day.